Hey, good morning, everybody. Dirk Beveridge here, founder of UnleashWD, going live on LinkedIn once again to explore 34 innovation truths. We're going to look at number 4 today, and I'm super thrilled that you are with me. When you come in, please let me know that you're here. Put your name, let me know where you're from, say hello. I will be sure to say hello back to you. And I'm really looking forward to today. I was just thinking through getting my final thoughts together at 8:06. I got a little excited, so I sent out an email to my list, and I hope that many of you are going to be joining us because I'm excited about the 9 gravitational pulls to the status quo that we all need to be aware of if we are, in fact, going to lead the change, transformation, innovation that all of our companies need so very, very desperately. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in. Let me know that you're here, and we're going to get started in 2 minutes. All right? Thanks for being here. 2 minutes. Here we go. Hey, welcome back, everybody. I'm laughing at myself as that music is playing, as I'm dancing a little bit here. I'm laughing at myself because I love the music, and I've probably heard it hundreds of times already, but I still love it. I still move to it. And I started laughing because I think back to, do you guys remember AC/DC's Back in Black when that album came out? Oh my gosh, I was in college at the time, and I had that thing on repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat, and I never got tired of it. It's kind of like that bumper music. So anyway, hey, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. David, great to see you, my friend. Really appreciate you being here. Guy, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good to see you. Susan, always great to see you. Dan, hope you are doing well, my friend. Thank you for being here. Brian, howdy to you as well. Thomas, good morning to you, my friend. Thank you for being here. And Oklahoma, the Okies are in. Is that how I say it, Pam? I don't know. And Oklahoma. We'll just say Oklahoma is in the house. So super thrilled that you all are here. And we're continuing our conversation about innovation truths that are based on my innovation manifesto. 34 fundamental beliefs. As I say, if anybody here, I don't know why you would be, but if anybody here is interested in knowing who Dirk Beveridge is, what I fundamentally believe, what I stand for, it's all captured on this document, all right? These 34 fundamental beliefs that I hold dear to myself. I keep these in front of me to keep me and my business and our clients focused on the need for change, transformation, and innovation. Today, we're going to be looking at the fourth of those innovation truths, the fundamental beliefs that we have. And we're going to get right into it, all right? So if you're ready, let's get started. Okay, so we got Georgia in the house as well. I see Andrew, Fairfield, Connecticut, man. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, so here we go. The fourth innovation truth. And before I set that stage, guys, we are on a mission. At UnleashWD, we are absolutely on a mission. You're going to be seeing a lot from us. We are absolutely committed to doing what it takes to ensure this channel distribution thrives. And in order for that to happen, there's 415,000 locations across this country, about 39,000 different businesses, 415,000 locations for the channel to thrive. Those businesses, the majority of those are independent, family-owned businesses that just do so much good for our country and for society and for the employees and the people and the customers. They have to thrive. And in order for those 415,000 locations to thrive, the 6 million professionals throughout distribution need to thrive. And we are absolutely on a mission to make that happen. And innovation is a key part of that. And if we're all going to thrive, the channel, the businesses, the individual, the 6 million professionals, the fourth fundamental truth of innovation tells us that we must break free from the gravitational pull of the status quo. We must break free from the gravitational pull of the status quo. You know, I don't know about you, but what I believe, what I know down deep in my gut, is that there are these gravitational pulls that want to pull us back to safety, that want to pull us back to security, that want to pull us back to what we know. Innovation and change at times can be scary for some individuals. So we retreat to what we know. We retreat to what got us to where we are today, rather than leaning forward, rather than embracing the change transformation that's required today more than ever, right? Last week, we talked about the age of acceleration that we're in. I'm going to be talking about that with my good friends at Infor with an amazing online summit that they've put together, 1 o'clock Central. We're going to be doing that. So we're going to talk about that age of acceleration and the need for this change. But we also need to acknowledge that there is this pull in all of my organization, your organization, to pull us back to safety and to security and to what we know. And what we as leaders must do, we must be aware of this gravitational pull so that we can attack them, so that we can attack those gravitational pulls, obliterate them, and move our organization team forward. It's absolutely critical. Now, I always use to ground my thinking in this a quote from the former CEO of General Electric, Jack Welch. And Jack Welch reminded us, let me get there. Jack Welch reminded us this thing. He said, if change on the outside of the business is faster than change on the inside of the business, the end is near. One more time. He said, take a look at this age of acceleration that Beveridge is talking about. Take a look at this age of disruption that we all know. If the change is accelerating faster on the outside of your business than on the inside of your business, he suggested the end is near. And what we have to acknowledge is this gravitational pull. Another term for it is this inherent inertia. Inherent inertia in our organizations is defined as a lack of movement or a lack of change, especially when movement or change is needed. And I think today is an absolute, the absolute definition of the need for driving change in our organizations, as we have been talking about. So let's get into this. Let's look at the 9 gravitational pulls that are going to try to stop our organizations, the people on your team, from moving forward as we all need to move forward. The first gravitational pull to the status quo, to safety, to security, is in fact complacency. For years, I've talked about good times can camouflage poor performance. The fact is, all of our businesses are successful. All of our businesses are in business. All of our businesses have gotten through the pandemic. All of our businesses have customers. All of our businesses are generating revenues. All of our businesses are creating some profit. And what happens is we become complacent, and we become stable. We become in a state that we just want to stop and breathe. And we fall into the complacency trap of believing that what is today will be tomorrow. I've heard it said to me that, Dirk, at times there becomes a sense of arrogance, that we don't need to change because of our past performance. Complacency will absolutely kill our chances of thriving going forward in this age of acceleration. Would you agree? Flavio, good morning. Great to see you, my friend. Brazil's in the house. Love it. So number one is complacency. Number two, the second gravitational pull to the status quo is what many talk about is the lack of resources. I'll talk about the perceived lack of resources. The fact is, right? The fact is there is never enough money. You should see my plans. I'm looking on the other side of the camera. Man, I got to tell you something. I don't have enough money to do what I want to do. Right? There's always a lack of talent. There's always a lack of bandwidth. There's always a lack of resource. We never have enough time, money, talent, bandwidth. There's always going to be those constraints. And if we allow those constraints to stop us from making that first step, from moving forward, and that's what happens in too many organizations. We look at the constraint, and the constraint is that weight that stops us, rather than finding a way to work around that constraint, to go under it, to go over it, to break through it, to partner in new ways, whatever it's going to take. But there's a term, whatever it's going to take. But take a look at the initiatives, take a look at the projects, take a look at the innovative ideas that have been brought to your organization. How many of them have, bam, hit a wall and have been stopped immediately? Because the people around the conference room table, they immediately jump to, how do we do that? We don't have the bandwidth, we don't have the capabilities, we don't have the skills, we don't have the time, we don't have the money. And you automatically go back to doing things the way we were. We'll always be short of resources. It's our job as leaders to work through that. Number three, the third gravitational pull to the status quo is incentives. Look, change and innovation is absolutely hard. It is not easy. It's difficult. What other analogies or adjectives can we use? It's a pain in the ass. It's hard. It's difficult. It's a struggle. And we need to be incented to do it. The why has to be big enough, not only for the organization, but every individual in your company who's going to be asked to do something different. They have to see the why. They have to be incented to do that. And that doesn't just mean money. It has to be purposeful. It has to be meaningful. We have to be working towards something greater than today if we want change to take place in our organizations in any way. So is the incentive there? Is the purpose there? Is the greater why there? And is that internalized by the entire organization, by the team? It's going to be required, because if not, we're going to be pulled back to say, man, why do I need to go through that? I'm pretty, go back up to number one. I'm complacent. I'm pretty comfortable today. Right? We're going to be pulled back. So number three is incentive. Number four that we often hear about is a fear of loss of money. One more time. I've alluded to it, right? Look, we know with change, innovation, as we're moving the organization forward, success is not guaranteed. One more time. Success is not guaranteed. Just because we're going to drive change, just because we're going to innovate, because we're going to do something new, different, finding new ways to create value, it doesn't mean the idea is going to work. It doesn't mean that the first iteration of it is going to work. We need to acknowledge that. You know, 3 letters are an absolute killer of innovation and change in organization. Anybody know what those 3 letters are? ROI. Return on investment. I mean, when we're in the process of looking to drive change and transformation and innovation in this age of acceleration, if the first question, or one of the first questions, is what's the ROI? What can we count on in terms of return from that initiative? I got news for you. You're dead. We're dead. The world is going to pass us by because others that are willing to take the risk, others that are willing to experiment, others that are willing to iterate are going to be the ones who are going to step in and drive that change and transformation and innovation. Um, Yesterday, I'm on a call with some brilliant CEOs throughout distribution, and I learned so much. And one of the things they said to me is, Dirk, what we need to be fearful of is not those within our tent. We need to be fearful of those outside of our tent, meaning those who are not traditional distributors, who see the food, who see that this is damn good business. And they see opportunity, and they're willing to invest in it and figure it out. But if we're fearful of loss of money to try something new, I got news for you. Those non-traditional competitors, others, are going to have, they're going to be able to make headway pretty darn quickly. So that is number 4. So on our way to number 9, let me see. Jeff Cross, great to see you, man. You say you don't think I need caffeine, but here you go. I'm going to have a little, all right? So thanks, buddy. Let's get together on those interviews and the like. Jake, I appreciate it. Jake, thank you for being here, my friend. I appreciate you. Let's share all this leadership around. And Thomas, change is not a bad thing. We have to learn to enjoy it so much. And you know, Thomas, I agree. And I think as leaders, what we've got to do is we've got to take what we've learned through this pandemic, right? That we can change, that we did change, and that it is doable. That individuals can change, companies can change. So I agree 100%. Gary, super cool, man. I'm glad that this is having value for you and resonating with you. So cool, guys. Thanks. Keep them coming. So Thomas, you also say, be ready to quickly change again and again. We have to keep moving. Absolutely. All right, let's look at the 5th gravitational pull. All right. The 5th gravitational pull, I think I've alluded to it, but that 5th gravitational pull is the fear of the unknown. The fact is, as we look to bring our team, our organization, our marketplace, our customers forward, the fact is there is going to be a learning curve. Again, how do I define innovation? I define innovation as leading customers, by the way, it could be internal or external. Innovation is leading customers to a better future for which they are willing and capable of rewarding you. And by the very nature of leading customers to a better future, the future is unknown. Nobody can see into the future. We can make assessments, we can make judgments, we can peer into the future, and we can connect dots and make strategic moves. But the fact is, nobody knows what's going to happen tomorrow, right? And so it's that fear of unknown, knowing that there is a learning curve, knowing that we're going to face obstacles and opportunities. We're going to face competitors. We're going to face challenges. We're going to see opportunities that we did not foresee. And that unknown, I call it the fog of uncertainty. The fog of uncertainty in businesses and organizations, man, just envelopes us. It envelopes us. And because there's so much fog that we need to work through to say, where are we going? How are we going to get there? It just causes so many organizations, teams to just stop advancing. I mean, what do? Do I focus on talent? Do I focus on technology? Do I focus on value propositions? Do I focus on rethinking our business model? Do I invest in a learning management system or e-commerce? Oh my God, it goes on and on and on. And it's that fog of the unknown that stops us. We need to be aware of it. We need to absolutely attack it where it's at. Number 6, I think this is really, really critical. I think a 6th gravitational pull to the status quo that we've got to break through is, you know what? It's often because we're not close enough to our customers. We're busy. You've all heard me talk about the tyranny of the urgent. Focus on the day-to-day, working in the business rather than on the business. And when we're not close enough to the customer, when we're not having the conversations, when we're not out in the field, having the chance to interact, understanding their needs, challenges, wants, desires, not understanding their dreams, right? Look, we're in business of serving our customers. We're in business of leading them to a better future. And the only way I know to do that is it begins with us having conversations, dialogue, being in touch, listening, learning, observing, understanding what's going on in our customers' lives. Because every one of them has challenges. Every one of them has obstacles. Every one of them is trying to make their life and their business better. If we're not driving change, it could be because we're not close enough to our customers. Number seven, the seventh gravitational pull to the status quo that we have to just absolutely break up is lack of imagination. I guess it's been 8 years now. I've held my Unleash Innovation Summit. And the premise of that summit was I'm going to put together an industry conference with no industry speakers. I remember the first couple of years when I put on this conference, 15 brilliant leaders, disruptors, innovators, all from outside of distribution. I brought them in. Man, I got phone calls after phone calls of people say, hey, Dirk, I see your conference, but I don't think I'm going to buy a ticket because I don't know any of those speakers. I said, hallelujah. You mean you're going to go to an industry conference and hear something that you haven't heard before? That's brilliant. You better get there, right? Yeah, I started that conference because one of my premises was that we have been too incestuous. We hang out with the same group. We listen to the same people. Hell, you listen to me, right? I encourage you, right, to get out of distribution. Go pick up a book by Peter Diamandis. Go and learn about bold and exponential organizations. Go and learn from outside of distribution and open up the mind to what the possibilities are. Man, when we are trapped into this legacy thinking of what is and the definition of distribution as it is, as it has been, I got news for you. As I learned from those CEOs on the phone yesterday, man, those people, those organizations, those non-traditional who are looking in at distribution, thinking about how 3D printing is going to be able to absolutely transform some of the specialty part business, right? For example, this is what we talked about on the phone yesterday. We need to think differently. We need to think bigger. We need to bring new ideas, new insight, and yes, expand the imagination of everybody on our team and the like. So good, number 8. The 8th gravitational pull to the status quo that I've seen is a lack of belief. A lack of belief. Bringing organizations, teams, customers to a better future when it's all unknown requires a hell of a lot of belief. A lot of belief in the vision, a lot of belief in the path to get there, a lot of belief in our ability to execute, a lot of belief in the strategy, and yes, a lot of belief in you, me, the leader. Everyone has to believe in change, and everyone doesn't. And look, I will never get 100%, but there's a model, 20, 50, 30. Man, we've got to get those 20%, those troublemakers, those who see the vision, who believe like I believe, man, and I got to pull them in under my tent, and I got to make them the change agents to get those 50% in the middle who are waiting to see. And then those 30% will deal with them, but I'm going to win with that 20% and the 50%. But we got to find that belief. We got to develop that belief, and we got to develop a team of individuals who believe what I believe and to move this thing forward. And then number 9, the last gravitational pull to that status quo is when there is no vision for the future. In my book, Innovate: How Successful Distributors Lead Change in Disruptive Times, we discovered through the research the model of the innovative distributor. And we said that if you're going to remain relevant, profitable, and sustainable in this age of disruption, and now in this age of acceleration, it all starts with the first component part. The first component part of the model of the innovative distributor is vision. Without vision, there's no change, there's no transformation, there's no innovation. As a leader, if you cannot paint that picture, if you cannot articulate where we're at today and where we're going, what we are today, what we're going to become, what our capabilities are today, what our capabilities are going to become. If we cannot paint that gap, that vision of where we are going and what we are going to become and articulate it so clearly that it becomes real in our organization's mind, I guarantee you we're going to be pulled back to the safety of the status quo. So, the fourth fundamental belief, we must break free from the gravitational pull to the status quo. In my organization and in your organization, there is this gravitational pull. There's this inherent inertia, man. It is the most powerful magnet on the planet. And that magnet is just absolutely pulling us back to what we know, back to safety, back to security. And our job as leaders, man, I don't know the science behind it. Is it the positive, negative, positive? I don't know. We got to break that magnetic pull. And it can start by understanding these 9 gravitational pulls to that status quo so we can put them on the wall. And every time there's any obstacle, any discussion about we can't do this, it's not possible. And let's look at these 9 and say, all right, which one of these is trying to pull us back? So I really appreciate you all being here. Thomas, thank you. Flavio, as I said, man, great to see you, my friend, all the way from Brazil. What do you say there? You say, I've known Dirk since the mid-90s. Just amazing. Since then, he's only gotten better and better. That's too kind. Thank you. And Thomas, thank you for the thoughts as well. I appreciate it. Pam said, I didn't have any idea who you were when I first heard you at NAED. I'm glad I listened anyway. And Pam touched my heart. I am well as well. Thank you so much for being here. And Patricia, great to see you. Great topic. We're not learning anything if it's easy. Oh, brilliant. Patricia, I agree 100%. So there you have it, you guys. Thanks so much for being here. Tomorrow, we're going to, at 9 o'clock Central, look at the 5th Innovation Truth from my Innovation Conference to help the channel thrive, the 415,000 individual distribution locations thrive, and all 6 million professionals throughout distribution thrive. That's the mission we're on. Thanks for being on it with us. Tomorrow, we'll look at number 5, and that's relevance is the new mandate. Guys, I really appreciate you being here. If you like this, please share it with other individuals. Continue to make the comments, and I'll respond to every single one of you. Really appreciate it. And I see one more here before we go. Thomas says, every day is a learning experience. Once you quit learning, you become the status quo. Absolutely. Everybody, thanks so much for being here. Have a great day. Let's get out there and let's break that gravitational pull to the status quo. Thanks, everybody.